Evolution doesn't negate the existence of God, because the thing is we still require a cause for all of this. So evolution doesn't necessarily, somehow disprove the existence of God.
Who's right? If it's different.
So that's a good question now. Now we're coming to the question of which religion is right. Is that what you're trying to? Yes, that's a very good question actually. In a way, like everyone's got their own responsibility. In certain things, the women are better. In certain things, the men are better. Okay. Say again. Say again. If you ask most women, they will not prefer to have at the same time 4 men, even as boyfriends. Okay, most of them they will not have this. They would prefer, because they prefer monogamy. Most of them, yes, and the men do as well. So in Islam, the default is what? I don't know how many people you have met as a Muslim who has got more than one wife. There are very few.
For rich people.
No, it's not necessary. Yeah, of course, they need to be a certain level of finance to be able to afford that many wives.
Yeah.
Otherwise, what does the Quran say? The Quran says that if you cannot, do justice between them, then have only one. The Quran is the only holy book which says to have only one wife.
Is it possible to do justice?
No, I don't know any Muslims.
Say again?
I don't know any Muslims. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't need to know. Like, you can meet someone, you can ask them, But most of them, like I said, are monogamous in the sense that they cannot do justice with more than one wife. That is the status.
Well, you can't afford.
Even that. But even if they can afford, many times
Nowadays people can't afford even one wife.
Yeah. Well, nowadays, yeah.
Especially the last
and that's the reason. That's the reason many of them actually have stopped even marriage today. In fact, they stop even having children today. Why? Because all they're worried about is what? Money. Yes. It's about how can I have a better life rather than why should I have children? If I have children, I cannot travel. I cannot have my independence. So that's the reason I'm saying if you look at life holistically, then it'll make sense that if there is some way of guidance. And what is the guidance for us? For us as Muslims, the guidance is the Quran. Yes. Like take for example today, many women they work, they go to work. If it's a new role for them, let's say if the boss asks them, "Can you make some tea for me, love?" Yes, they wouldn't even question. They will just go and do it. The same woman when she goes home, and her husband asks her nicely, lovingly, "Yes, go and make some tea for me." "Oh man, I've just come from work. Go and do it yourself." You see, this is what it's become today. That's why we should respect the roles.
Because the boss is a rich man.
No, it's not rich, because she considers that to be a duty. That to be a duty rather than the duty to her husband, which is in a loving way. Making tea shouldn't be something which is like a big thing, And look, if in a marriage, it's always not. I'm finished with you, yeah. So
you can't because you're scared.
I don't want to waste my time with you. He's a troll, by the way, this guy. Yes. So anyway, what I believe is that there is a role for everyone and a duty to everyone. That is the reason we as Muslims we have been given this guidance in the Quran, alhamdulillah, and that's what we have. Okay, this is what we are doing today as here is Speaker's Corner, and this is what it's okay, brother. It's okay.
Stick with one wife.
If you cannot deal with more than one, yes, please. That's exactly what the Quran says. We cannot do justice with them. Yeah, alhamdulillah. Yeah. By the way, have you guys ever read the Quran?
Parts of it, yeah.
Yeah, you have. Okay. What do you guys actually believe in God?
Emotionally just.
I'm trying to decide.
You're trying to decide,
morally just.
like your background
Very difficult.
from your parents.
My parents were not religious.
Okay. So in terms of, have you ever asked this existential question? Where did we all come from?
Yeah.
Have you thought about it?
Yeah.
Well, what do you think is the answer to that? Where did all of this existence come from?
I don't know where I come
No, but you said you thought about it. So you must have come to some understanding.
I would say Christianity, but scientifically, I think it's just evolution.
Sorry, what do you mean Christianity?
Christianity being
Yeah.
No, I want
Yeah.
this
But in Christianity, they do worship God as well. Yes? So I don't know if you do. Do you? Or you don't? You don't? You haven't thought about it? Okay, and? You got too many questions. Okay, so have you got any answers though? Okay, let's say, forget about any religion for now. Okay, just rationally, logically, where do you think existence came from? Where do you think this universe came from?
Big Bang.
But even the Big Bang,
We evolved from different creatures.
no, but even the Big Bang itself is a effect. It's not the cause. Do you know that? The Big Bang did not come about by itself. It must have a cause, because it didn't just one day, you know, all the matter just came and exploded. No, you know, this is the reason I am saying that this is an effect and not the cause. The cause is what? A cause, by definition, is like everything that begins to exist must have a cause. Okay? Did the Big Bang begin at a certain time?
It's quite hard to believe the creation and Adam and Eve.
So is Big Bang the beginning of the universe, or it was before the universe, Big Bang itself?
Well, that's a difficult question, because for a Big Bang there must have been matter, and where did the matter come from? And it's like chicken and egg. And it's
No, the question is the Big Bang, is it the beginning of the universe, or it was before the universe?
We don't know nothing, sir.
and then over millions of years.
So Big Bang was not there before
I
that.
want to speak to this
Built
people.
up millions of years.
I want to talk to him.
As a result of the Big Bang. As a result, but the Big Bang itself is the result of something, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a effect. Like I said, it's not the cause. So even if it was for you, if it was a beginning, then we will have to ask the question, where did it come from?
I know, but you know what?
Like the way you, no, actually you did ask the question. Actually, you did ask the question. You said, where did all this matter come from? And that is a good question, because the thing is, the matter itself came much later. Do you know that? If you study the Big Bang, you'll realize that the matter itself came a few million years after that. So the question now is, where did the Big Bang start? It cannot come by itself, because it wasn't there in the first place. It cannot come from nothing.
I don't know.
No, but what we can do, logically, we can rule out certain things. Can we not? We can rule out certain things, like if I were to ask you, can the mother give birth to herself?
Can a mother give birth to herself?
Yes. Exactly. So you see, we are ruling out based on logic. And this is what we should do with regards to the Big Bang and anything that we believe as the source or the origin of this universe. Because the question is, if a mother cannot give birth to herself, and if you consider the Big Bang to be in the place of the mother, then it cannot create itself. There must be something which created it, which brought it into existence. And that's the reason we say, yes. So what we say is that whatever created the Big Bang, whatever brought it into existence, whatever brought that effect into existence, must have already existed before the Big Bang. And it must have a will. It must have the ability to create like something like the Big Bang. So even if we consider that to be the starting point, we know that there is a cause that brought this into existence.
Then are we just talking about the Earth, because there's multiple galaxies?
The same question applies.
So
The same question would apply. Where did it all come from?
the Earth, the universe, the galaxy, where does that
Yeah.
begin and end?
So, for example, all of this, the galaxies, they came after the Big Bang, according to the scientists. So all of this, they say that was the first thing which kind of caused this expansion as well. Whereas the Quran says that we have that the heavens and the earth, they were joined together, and then they ascended. They actually expanded as well. So this is message 1400 years ago, long before any telescopes. You know, the Hubble telescope and all, that was how they knew that there was, for example, the microwave background radiations. Oops, I don't think he knows. Okay, thanks for supporting Palestine. Free Palestine. Okay, so, alhamdulillah. So what we are saying is that they required certain evidence. Like, how old is the universe, for example? So this background radiations was able to give them the evidence that they required. Because, you know, because, yeah.
Billions and billions of years.
Yeah, they say something like,
Billions of years.
yeah.
Life was there, and millions for that to adapt.
Yeah.
But this is the thing. Well, what you call evolution is actually adaptation, not evolution. Because there is no single example of one kind of animal to become another kind of animal. You see, amongst the birds, Darwin, when he was giving us example of the birds, that saying that, well, look, they evolved and stuff. They did not evolve.
Yeah.
What happened to them, they just adapted to the environment they have changed to.
Come here, brother.
You understand? Some of them, they... But this is a problem. If that process, let's say, started some time ago, then we should be seeing animals in the process right now. But we don't.
So are the monkeys turning into humans?
There is not a single animal that would be,
Yeah, but
within the
even
process of
you know,
changing from
evolution
one
doesn't
kind of
negate the existence of God, because the thing is, we still require a cause for all of this. So evolution doesn't necessarily, somehow disprove the existence of God. The reason we say God is because God is the only one which actually fills this void, this answer which you're looking for, and that's why we say the cause has to be someone who is independent, someone who is a necessary being, that he doesn't depend on anyone, and everyone depends on him. There has to be something like that. Otherwise, all of this existence doesn't make sense. Like if you look, there is order in this universe. Yeah. Look at the minutest of atoms, for example. Yes. It has a nucleus. It has electrons and protons and neutrons and so on. Now look at the solar system, which is massive, isn't it? And it has a very similar kind of concept or structure. Like we got the sun in the middle, and we got the planets going around it, similar to the electrons. You see, there is, in the most micro and the most macro, there is so much similarity. And we don't think all of this is just by chance. We know that this order is there. Someone must have been keeping this, otherwise there'll be chaos. Look at any system in the world.
But who's right?
Say again?
Who's right? If
Oh,
it's different.
so that's a good question now. Now we're coming to the question of which religion is right. Is that what you're trying to? Yes, that's a very good question actually. I think there are thousands of religions out there, and in our lifetime there's no way we can, have the time or the ability to research all of them. So what we do, we narrow it down by one factor, which is focus on the monotheistic religions, which teaches pure monotheism. Do you know why? Because that is the only logical explanation and understanding that we have as to why all of this is not a chaos and it's actually functioning in an orderly fashion. Because imagine if there were two powerful beings, yeah, and if one of them wills something different from the other one, whose will is going to be dominant? See what I mean? That's the reason if you look at all the countries, we have one ruler, one person who calls the shots, and he's, like they say, where the buck stops, like the Americans say, isn't it? So we need this. Even in a company, if you have too many people looking after it, and there's no one person to have the last word, then there's normally arguments, and that's the problem. We spoke about leadership earlier in a marriage. That's the reason one person should have the authority, even in a marriage, as to have the last say. That doesn't mean they should be irresponsible and unjust to their spouse. Okay, we always believe that there is equity, not equality, because we know men and women are not the same, right? They have different needs, different even thought processes, different way they react to things, different in terms of their physiology.
ability.
Yeah, so we actually believe in equity. We don't believe so-called equality like the feminists want to have it. Yeah, and today the feminists are in such poor condition, they can't even define what a woman is.
There is an example talking about men marrying women, the level of divorce, the percentage. And it's like the initiative to divorce comes from women, like probably 90 times of 100, yeah? Then there is a women married to women, okay? And it's almost like they don't last. Because there are two women dealing at the same time. They don't last at all. So talking about feminism, if that was an example of feminism, then it's a bad example.
It's become a mess today because the roles they don't know who plays what role, and then they start inventing their own things. And that's the reason today they have got set to the point where we ask them what is a woman, they can't even define that. Yes? So anyway, I think we should, the reason we talked about God is because for us, that is something which we should value the most. You know why? Because I don't know what your thoughts, or have you given any thought to afterlife? One thing is certain, we're all going to die one day, right? So there's no dispute there. Doesn't matter even if you reject God. The atheists, the believers, the ones who believe in the true God, the ones who believe in false God, everyone knows that this is one fact no one can deny, that we will be subject to death one day. So what is your thought? I don't know if you have given any thought to what will happen to you after life. Sorry, after death.
Yeah, I don't know.
You haven't? You must have given a thought. Come on.
I've given it thought.
Especially when someone passes away in your family or your friends or your relatives, you think about these things.
I like sort of think that there's spirit goes somewhere, but I don't know where. I don't know if that's heaven. I feel like I saw my dad die, and I felt like I could almost see his soul leave his body, and I thought, where's that gone?
Okay. Are you a Catholic?
The body's a
By
shell.
your parents Catholic? No? Okay. But
Church of England.
Christian?
Church of England.
Church of England, okay. Yeah, I think they more or less believe the same, because obviously they believe in heaven and hell, but even before that, I'm talking, is there actually life after you die? No? Okay, fair enough. What about you? Have you given it a thought? No? Okay. I mean, look at it this way, okay? Imagine all of us, we know that we're going to die. Let's say we die and that's the end of it. Yeah? Dust to dust, ashes to ashes, and that's the end. In that case, did any of us lose anything? No. Our status will be the same. That is the end.
I suppose one way of looking at it is
Yeah.
if you have children, you live on through them, so it's not.
No, but after you die, you can't benefit them
die,
anyway.
But part of you, it's like a legacy.
Yeah, I understand that, but whether you like it or not, the children are going to do what they want, regardless of what you had willed for them to do. What I'm saying is that for us as individuals, if the end was death, then we haven't lost out anything. But the question now is, if we flip that, and there is a new beginning after we die, then comes the question as to what have we done for that. Because anyone who is intelligent will try to lower the risk and not maximize the risk. The one who actually does nothing in terms of belief in God, they are actually maximizing the risk because they think nothing will happen to them. But when they realize that there is a new beginning, then they will be in for a huge shock. Is it not? And it'll be too late then, because
So
before
life begins when you die.
a new beginning, yes, absolutely, absolutely. This life is a test. Yes, as I was telling the other gentleman earlier, this life is a test to the point that you and I, we will not be forced to do what we want to do. So we will be, for example, be obedient or disobedient to God. God is not going to like zap you there and then. Yeah, He's going to give you a chance until you breathe your last. Sometimes it's 70 years, sometimes 80 years, sometimes 100 years. We don't know. We don't know which place we are going to die. We don't know how long we're going to live. But if we know that there is going to be a new beginning after you die, then an intelligent person would actually prepare for that and not take the risk. That's a good question. This is your book, the guidance. It is called the Quran, which is, God, when God created us, He always guided us as to how we can go about living our life. And if you look at most of the things in the Quran, there are things which are permitted and things which are forbidden. Look at most of the things which are forbidden. You must have heard this term called haram. Yes, so in Islam we believe certain things are haram, means forbidden by God. Look at most of the things which are forbidden. Alcohol, drugs, fornication, adultery, gambling, telling lies. Yeah, I know. I mean, not only the Bible. In fact, I would say even many other scriptures and books, be it the Hindus, be it the Buddhists. In fact, you don't even need to be religious to consider all these things to be bad. Do you agree?
Yeah, common sense.
There you go. But the common sense,
Sense of values.
yeah, yes. That's why I said Islam agrees pretty much with your common sense. So the things which have been forbidden are there for your good, for your benefit, and the benefit of the society. Take one example, gambling. Many people do not know what the harms or effects of gambling are if you're not gambling yourself. But the ones who have been through it, they know what it is and how devastating it can be, not only for them, for the immediate family, for their friends, and the community as well. Yes, but look at the government today, whether gambling or alcohol, which they know for certain harms us, they will promote it in every football match and every television ad. Why? Because it brings them revenue. The government doesn't care about your goodwill.
They
They
also
care.
give a warning as well.
Yeah, well, what's the point? It's like me saying, here, poison, it will kill you. But I'm selling it. You see what I mean? It's basically giving them giving them a free opportunity to sell poison to you. That is what alcohol is, and that's the reason Islam nips it in the bud. That this is something which is forbidden. In fact, Allah says in the Quran that there is some benefit in it, but the harm outweighs the benefit. So when Islam initially, when the Arabs to whom the Quran came, yes, that community, they used to be like, they used to love their wines, they used to love their alcohol. But Allah did not abolish it in one day. You know why? Because that is more harmful. You heard of the term cold turkey? Yeah? It does more harm to the person if they are on drugs and you tell them from tonight, no drugs for you. It will harm them really, like both mentally and physically. And they will go crazy. So when they go to rehab, how do they wean it off?
Gradually.
Absolutely. So they lower the doses and then eventually they wean them off that drug. And that is the safe way. That's exactly how the alcohol was forbidden. So when it initially came, Allah says there is some benefit in it, but the harm outweighs the benefit. Then later on, Allah sends another revelation. In this He says, do not drink and approach prayers. So don't go in the mosque while you're drunk. And then finally, the prohibition came as full stop. That is completely forbidden. So that way, it's showing you that logically, even the forbiddance of something which is haram, something which is forbidden, Allah put it in a way that it was not harmful to the people, and then they gradually weaned it off. But the thing is, today, look around the world, it's being promoted. Alcohol has been promoted. They know it is a poison, but they still want to sell. Why? Because it brings them profit. There is huge benefit for the government. The percentage of tax they have on alcohol, it increases every year. Same thing with cigarettes. Same thing with gambling. Yes? Doesn't matter how expensive they make it, people will buy it because they become addicted to it. How do they become addicted to it? Like you can openly buy it on the counter. Would any wise person allow their children to have poison if they know that is poison? They wouldn't. Why? Because they know that this harms them. The government knows it harms you. In fact, the NHS, the National Health Service, it spends something like 60% of its revenue on alcohol-related incidents or treating those people who are directly impacted by it. That is the amount of money we are putting in, the taxpayer. Even a person like me who's a teetotaler, who does not drink alcohol, even I have to actually, contribute to this poison that is being allowed in our communities. So all we are saying is that when you look at Islam, it gives you a holistic life in terms of your daily life. So the things so everything is permitted except what Allah and the Rasul told us is not permitted. And most of the things, as you have seen, is something like you correctly said, makes sense to you as common sense. So now the question is, if you know there is a new beginning after your death, how would you guys prepare for it? What would you do? How would you minimize the risk? You asked a good question, like, which religion is the truth? Yes, there are thousands of religions out there. And I said narrow it down by what? By monotheism. Because when you have two gods and they want to, have a will which is different to each other, then both of them will start fighting. And that's exactly what we see in the mythology, in the Greek mythology, in the Hindu mythology, where the gods are fighting each other for power and for control. But the thing is, in monotheism, that's not the problem. So it makes sense for you to study religions which are monotheistic. Like the way I did. I looked at Judaism, I looked at Christianity, and I looked at Islam, and then I can conclude that Islam and the Quran makes perfect sense, is in perfect alignment with your common sense as well. Many things that sometimes you think are bad in Islam, when you look at it thoroughly with the context, you will come to your own realization that it has to be the truth. So my gift to you, a free gift, a copy of the Quran. I can give you one as well if you want, but you can share it, no problem. And do look into Islam when you have a chance. Do read it, and if you got questions, myself and my brothers come here on Sunday. You can ask us or go to your local mosque. Are you guys local in London or? No, okay. Wherever you're from, I'm sure there'll be Muslims there. So go to your nearest mosque, ask them questions. I'm sure they'll be more than willing to help you and to answer your questions.
Answering my questions.
No problem.
I'm not shouting them.
No, that's not something we do at all. But really appreciate it. Thank you very much. Jazakallah khairan. Assalamu Alaikum wa Rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.